but it don't mean that I'm in love. I like you a lot, but you gotta step up.
Hello, welcome to the Daisy Dates podcast, where we talk all things dating, heartbreak, situationships, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Daisy.
And I'm Sharnee.
And today, it really is about the heartbreak and the breakups.
Yep, it sure is. This is the episode we've been waiting for.
We're both feeling a bit of a certain way about this one, I think, aren't we?
Yeah, because like your first heartbreak is like a big moment in your life. So to talk about it to a bunch of strangers is very exposing.
It is, yeah. I mean, I don't know where to start because I feel like I've been heartbroken a few times, and sometimes I think you can be heartbroken sometimes without the love part, like we've kind of touched on before. Sometimes you can have a moment in time, 6-8 months or a year with someone, maybe not fully love them or receive the love back, but still feel a certain way.
Okay, so do you think your first heartbreak was not fully you loving them when you look back?
That first heartbreak, I fully loved him. But I think I'm going to talk about heartbreak more recent.
Okay.
Yeah. That just because I want to talk about behaviours in a heartbreak.
Okay.
And I don't like how I behaved.
Okay, same. But mine's, I've only ever been in love once and I've only ever been heartbroken once.
Oh.
Once was enough for me. Learned my lesson after the one. You know me, I learn a lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've still only been in love once, though. With my first love.
Okay, but heartbroken or felt like kind of heartbroken a few times.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go first.
Okay, fine. So a few years ago, and we were together. It was the kind of lockdown, I guess. So everything was more prominent in lockdown, wasn't it? And we ended up living together really unexpectedly. It was a weird world, just spending a lot of time with people in one space.
How old was you?
So about 3 years ago.
Okay.
25.
Okay, I forget you're younger than me and you lived with him. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, only because of lockdown. It wasn't like a plan. But it meant I was working at home with him and he was also working at home as well. So we were together all of the time and it was fun. Like, I baked, I found stuff to do. We were all making banana bread. There was lots of different things that happened. But the breakup specifically with this person was just really horrible because it was really unexpected. Okay. I think with like a first love, you can expect it. Things happen. We had time apart. We went back together. This one, it was just random one day. So we're on Christmas time, and he buys me lovely Christmas presents. Like Pandora heart earrings, and we've been together a year, and he's never said the L word.
That's crazy. He was a fearful avoidant because we don't like to say that.
I don't think he ever got there with me. And 8 months in, maybe 7 months in, it came up, like, we haven't said it yet. And he's like, at the minute, I don't feel like I'll get there. But do you, I think it just, he'd been married previously.
What?
Yeah.
This just gets deeper and deeper.
And he said, maybe it's just going to take me more time because you're the first girl since, a divorce. And I was like, that totally makes sense, doesn't it? So yeah, I'll be fine. I'll wait a year for you to love me.
But he said he doesn't think he'll get there, or he thinks it'll take him a while. Which one?
Both. He kind of said, on one hand, he said, I don't think I'll get there. And it ended up, after 7 months, we broke up. But then the next day he called me and was like, I've made a mistake. I will get there. It's just going to take me time. So we stayed together for 3 or 4 more months. And then the inevitable happens because I think it always does. When that happens, I think it always happens eventually, doesn't it? So, yeah, unreal Christmas presents. And I'm like, this is going to be it. Like, love heart earrings, the Dyson Airwrap and hairdryer. Like, he'd spent loads. Not that matters, but also my birthday is the 2nd of Jan and I got really thoughtful gifts as well. His family buying me gifts. Now, I'll never forget the moment that on the 26th of December, we invite, my mum and stepdad round for dinner. And we're all kind of dancing in the kitchen. We've had a few drinks. And she goes, oh, look at you lovebirds in the kitchen. Look at you both, so in love. Because, on the outside, I guess it looked like that.
Would that make you two feel awkward because you don't say that you love each other?
So, yeah, so I was like, I was too embarrassed to tell my family that you hadn't said I love you yet because it's been a year.
You live together?
Yeah, you've got to love someone by then. I knew it wasn't right.
But did you love him? Was you just saying it because was you just not saying it because he hadn't said it? And did you feel it, but you didn't want to say it and then him not say it? What was the why? Did you both not say it?
Hindsight, I don't think I did.
You don't think you did?
Hindsight. in the moment, there were times when I was like, yeah, but no, I don't think it was fully right. But I really liked him a lot.
Yeah, and I do respect that he didn't
Yeah.
say it, because some people just say it for the sake of it. I think I would just say it for the sake of it. But I made a rule to myself that if somebody says they can't see themselves marrying me, they can't see themselves loving me, they can't see a relationship with me, it is done for me.
Sean, I love that. Like, good for you, because that's what I would do now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why this person was a lesson, which we'll talk about in breakups, because it's always a lesson, isn't it?
Yeah, always.
Because I turned to him when my mum said that, and I said, oh, if only she knew. And like, he was like, stop it. Like, we've had an amazing time. How can you not see how I feel about you? I've bought you this. We've done this. You know, you're living with me. I've spent Christmas with you and my family. You know, like, just leave it. Like, meaning like, stop the conversation. So I was like, yeah, stop it, Daisy. You're ruining something. But looking back, like, that was just to push it out the way.
Yeah, and I know couples that haven't said it for like 3 or 4 years.
Do you?
But then they got married, so they obviously do love each other, but they just don't know how to say it. I think they
Okay.
both say, like, we just don't like to say it, like, we just feel awkward about saying it. Not that his reasoning is really hard. I think that's really hard to go for 3 or 4 months thinking this boy's never going to end up loving me.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. You know what it was? Someone that should be the perfect person on paper. So he knew our family. He was a family friend at the time. We knew him very well. Everyone knew him as a mate in a relationship, and people were like, this is it. If you meet someone like him, that's it, Daisy, because they're a relationship guy. They don't mess around. So you think, well, on paper, he's the guy that everyone's telling me is great. And I think that's the problem when lots of external people get involved. Because if this was some random dude I'd met on Tinder and I didn't know much about his background, and after a year he hadn't loved me yet, then I would be more...
And I think people that are in relationships only want their single friends and single family members to be happy. But honestly, you've got to stop putting an expectation on us when we meet somebody. Everybody I meet, my friends go, I love him. Okay, but that's not going to make me feel any better when it ends, or when it's not right, or then you're telling me that I'm making the wrong choice by ending it. Just let us live, and like we let you live with your relationship, because we haven't found them yet. So let us make our own decision. And I know you're happy for us, and I know you want us to meet somebody, but it's not making it any easier for us with these opinions.
The external factors make a big difference. How a friend can be like, no, but he's done this and this for you, and you know, compared to your ex, look how great he's been. And that isn't always a good comparison, because if your ex has been absolutely rubbish, then just because he's a little bit better,
5% better.
Deep down, you always know in the gut. The whole year, I knew in my gut that he wasn't quite right.
So how did it fully end?
So we're on around the 10th, something like that, of January. So a few weeks after the Christmas, which had been rocky. It had been rocky. Like, he was picking on me for random arguments, which is when you know someone isn't into you as well.
Everything is annoying them about you.
I spill a drop of Baileys on his sofa and he hit the roof. Like, I'm talking, it was like I'd literally like said something awful about his mother, or he hit the roof. And then New Year's Eve, right, I'm working and I get back in time for the evening, so 7 p.m. And he's roasted like a lamb in the garden all day long. So I'm like, look at this man. Yeah, this is what I want. Like, he's made me dinner all day. He's been in the kitchen. So at dinner, we start to talk about stuff. And I'm like, he's quite a lot older than me at this point. So I guess he's like more 34, 35. And he had always made it clear how much he wanted kids. So kids came up. We've only been together a year, but I was kind of letting him know that if he really wanted them, I'd be willing to have them sooner than maybe he thought I would because of my age. He hit the roof.
He hit the roof?
Yeah, because we started talking about a baby and I was like, do you feel like that's something you'd want in the next like 2-3 years? And he was like, why are we talking about this? And I was like, well, I'm your girlfriend of a year. And he was like, why are we talking about this? And he was like, he slammed the knife fork down. He said, for God's sake, Daisy, you always ruin everything. This 35-year-old man locked himself in his upstairs toilet to calm himself down.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless. And because me and Daisie are so opposite and we go for opposite men, I've never had this sort of treatment from a man.
Really?
Yeah, if there's a problem in a relationship, it was usually me. I'm speechless at that. That is crazy. What a grown little baby. No wonder he doesn't want children yet. He's a little baby himself. Cry baby. In the toilet. Silly. What the hell?
I was literally like, how do I... And then I'm like, I'm not going to like tiptoe around this man. I'm like, after a year, it's normal to have a conversation about that kind of thing, right? I'm living in your house. I'm not saying I want your babies. I'm just saying, can you see it happening?
How would it all make you feel though when he's going mad at tiny little things like this?
Oh my God, at this point I was like, something's not right. He obviously doesn't like me because I've spilled a tiny bit of Baileys on his sofa and it's hit the roof. Like, this isn't, I love Baileys. this isn't normal. But then like the next day he'd be like, oh, do you want to do this with my family? And we could do this on, Christmas Eve. And he made it very hot and cold, I guess. But I don't think he was aware of that. So come around the 10th of January, we spend a weekend together and I'm not very well on the Sunday. And I was like, I don't know whether to call in sick to work. I'm really not well. And he just couldn't care less. He's just like, do what you want to do. And I'm like, can I stay here for the night if I don't go back to Leeds? Because I just don't, I'll text the manager now. He doesn't care. I'm thinking, you get an extra night with me and we're doing a bit of long distance occasionally. So why does he not really care that I'm really not feeling well? And he was like, yeah, don't really mind. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back to Leeds. I don't want to be here. I'd rather be ill in Leeds with my best mate, who I lived with at the time. It's very confusing. We were between lockdowns. I was between two spaces. Yeah. So I was like, she'll look after me better than him. So I went back and I didn't hear from my boyfriend for 4 days that week.
Oh my goodness, what a walking red flag he is. No wonder he's divorced.
So, yeah, it is funny that he's divorced because after they divorced, very quickly she found someone else and had a baby with him. And sometimes I think women must just be like, oh, this is what it's meant to feel like, and do it all very quickly. So that week, on like the Wednesday, I'm ringing his stepmum. Like, I'm actually worried. He lives alone. Has he fallen down the stairs?
Has he got himself locked in the bathroom and he's starved to death?
Do you know what I mean?
He couldn't get out. He's been crying for days.
Honestly. So I go home on a Thursday night. He's barely spoken to me. He's apologised a little bit. I've been really busy and tired. I had a key, obviously, to his house at this point. I get home on Thursday night, go in, and I was like, he's either breaking up with me, he's cheated on me, or something really is not right. I walk in, he comes down the stairs, he runs downstairs, and he's like, I just need to talk to you. I'm like, oh my God, who have you shagged? Bearing in mind, this is my different kind of type. He's not the kind of geekier man. Sorry, he is the kind of geekier man. Okay. He's not like the typical Essex Love Island guy that I go for. So I'm like, surely he's not cheating on me, because this kind of guy is the family man, the one on paper, right? That everyone says.
I never think that, guys. The geeks will cheat on you. You'll find out in a minute.
Yeah. And you didn't even know this story. Oh, so he sits me down and he's like, I can't do it. I just can't. I can't do it. I don't love you. That's very clear. I can see that I'm never going to love you. So I'm like,
Daisy, this is so sad.
Yeah, it is actually. I'm never going to love you. So I'm sat there, and obviously 25 is pretty young, I think, for this. Like,
so young. Well, you were young to get with somebody that was divorced, to be fair.
Yeah, I think so. So we're going through it. I don't really get an answer. I text my sister. She's like, come round, have the pizza. And I'm heartbroken. Like, I'm crying. Like, I'm like, what's just... And this is out the blue. You don't get someone love heart earrings on the 25th of December and then, 15 days later. Anyway, what I haven't mentioned here is the week that he's been ignoring me, my granddad had passed away. So it's the same week that I'm dealing with... Yeah, it's the same week I'm dealing with a grieving family as well. I'd normally go to my mum, but she's grieving her dad. Mm-hmm. It was a really, really difficult time in that sense.
Like lonely?
Yeah. My best friend took everything, bless her. Like, everything. Owe me getting through that to her and her only, really. And so he wanted to break up with me the 4 days before ignoring me, but it was because my granddad had passed. He was like, it wasn't the right time. So we delayed it a week, which kind of get it. Anyway, a week later, I travel back from Leeds and I've got a bag full of his stuff in Leeds to bring back to his house, which is 2.5 hours away. So I'm like, I text him and I get no reply. One ticks all day, but I'm like, he's always in on a Sunday. I'll just knock on his door and drop it off. So I get to the door and there's a new Audi on the drive. And I'm like, I know his sister wanted an Audi. And I'm like, oh, your sister got the new car. He answered the door so shady. And he's like, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Gave him the bag, cool, bye. Like, he didn't say, like, I'm so sorry and I hope you're doing all right. Nothing. I went to my auntie's and I was like, this isn't right. I'm having a cup of tea and I was like, that's a girl's car. That is a girl's car.
I can't believe this story. I can't believe this story.
Anyway, it took about 3 weeks of me just being like, what's happened? You know, I've messaged his friends like, who is it? What's happened? He rings me 3 weeks later and he says, yeah, my first love from when I was 20 years old, the girl he was with before his marriage, it's her.
How do you still have something in common with her? If my ex came back now, I'd be like, hello, what should we speak about? We haven't seen each other for 10 years.
Yeah.
What? And it was her Audi outside?
Her Audi outside.
How did that happen so quickly though? Did he cheat?
I don't know the info, but obviously, yeah, because that's a week later and the Audi's on the drive. Do you know what I mean? I could smell the roast dinner as he opened the door.
The lamb. Oh, just to let you know, don't bring up children because he'll lock himself in the bathroom. Bye.
No, 6 months later, they're having a kid.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting, without giving too much personal information away about other people, but his wife had said previously to someone I know, he will never love anyone the way he loved his first love. So she always felt that in their relationship, and they were together 10 years and married.
That's mad.
Isn't that mad?
That's crazy. And what do you think? Because I think there's a theme where you never get a conclusion at your ending. I don't know if it's because I'm so harsh. I don't know if I make it, I don't know. I feel like you have to live your life with a lot of not knowing endings. And I couldn't live with that. But you seem to just not know some of your endings. And now I see why you do text them and you do phone them to try and get that closure, because I don't have to deal with that, because in mine, it was Meg. So I knew it was my problem. I don't know how you can deal with just constantly not having a conclusion to the ending. It's a strong girl, because I couldn't do it. It drove me potty.
Oh, bless you. I think I always try to ensure that I get an answer. Mm-hmm. And in this case, it was
his first love.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're still together now. So fair enough, it was the right choice. But there's a way to deal with this kind of thing.
And why get back in touch after you broke up after 8 months? Why get you the presents? Why even start the relationship? Like, is your first love already in a relationship, so you're just waiting until she's single? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You just were wasting someone's time for the sake of wasting someone's time. It just seems irrelevant. Like, yeah, you're 25. If anything, you're getting older. Like, you're 25 and you're still young. You're old. You're locking yourself in the bathroom with a girl that you went to school with. Like, stop. It's embarrassing.
I always find that I'm the girl that a guy meets after they've had a relationship. And I think because I'm very spontaneous, I'm very like, oh, I'll do anything. Yeah, let's go here, let's go here. I'm good at planning, so I'll get it in. I think sometimes men can get carried away, or people, if it's the opposite way around, with that person after such a long relationship with one person. They get carried away with the new fun, the new spark.
And this person will keep my mind off the current heartbreak. And I think I'm the same, except for I go for wounded men that have got like family issues or some sort of past trauma, and I also give them make them forget what's going on. So I think we're both the same. Like, we're both fun, spontaneous, and we let people get like hide from their problems, and then once their problems are okay, they're like, bye girls, and we're like, bye, I got a girlfriend, no worries, see you later.
I agree. I feel like I've been used a lot for the fun, and men get carried away with me. Then when their ex comes back into their life, they're like, oh, actually I've had 6 years with this person. So that's happened loads.
Yeah.
So before we get into how I dealt with it, let's talk about yours.
Okay.
Do you need to take a deep breath?
I actually don't know if mine's as bad as yours, you know?
Really?
Yeah, because I was young and it was my fault. And there's some things that he did that I can't make excuses for him, but like, he was very nice. So this is about my first love, and I met him when I was 16. Well, we actually went to primary school together, and we were friends at primary school. We then went to different secondary schools, and then we met each other at sixth form doing drama. And I went to a girls' school, and he was one of the only boys that came to our sixth form. So he was inundated with attention. Girls were loving him, and he had this sweet fringe and skater boy look. And girls were like, oh my God, there's a new boy in the school. And I was like, I'm going to have him. And we got together after about 3 months. And when we were together, we were perfect for each other. It was the perfect little childhood, first little love. And the only thing that was wrong was that I had a very unhealthy attachment when it come to love. Like, I couldn't believe I was in love. I couldn't believe I had a boyfriend. I couldn't believe he was lying next to me. I just couldn't believe it. Every day I'd wake up like, whoa, I've got a boyfriend. Like, my friends would laugh and be like, you got a boyfriend, let's calm down. I was so like in deep, deep love that like I couldn't see anything else. I was literally like, he is amazing. And everyone was like, he's not that amazing, like looking, because he's obviously I go for geeks. And I was like, he's beautiful. And we were together for 3 years, 2.5, 3 years. Nothing much to report there. It was just a nice, cute little relationship. We had the same sense of humour. We both went to go to university, both really ambitious. He just loved me being weird and hyper. I could be my complete self. And I loved his family. My family loved him. And it was great. I can't say a bad word about him as a boyfriend. I really can't. He was an angel. And I had friends that had their first love and they were like being blanked at the bar. Their boyfriends were like, when you get in the pub, you're not with me. I'm like, if my boyfriend said, no, he'd be thrown out the pub if he said that. And my friends were just allowing these boys to just treat them vile. And my boyfriend was just an angel. And I was like, oh, you're an angel. He treated me like a queen, like breakfast in bed all the time.
Where is he now?
Like, he's got a house with a new girl.
Of course.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then we decided to go to university and we both were going to separate universities. And I'm a realist, always have been. I was in love, but I knew statistically we weren't going to make it through university.
Wow.
Like, I'd literally looked at stats and I'm like, it is rare that someone makes it through uni. I don't think we're going to make it. I even said to my dad, we were going on a family holiday to Bulgaria, and I said, can he come with us? Because I don't think we'll make it past first year. So I'd love to like have a holiday with him before that. And my dad was like, yes. So we had a lovely holiday before university. And he like, I didn't get into university originally and I was crying. He got in because he's very smart and I didn't, and we was on holiday. And in the morning, I got a message from UCAS saying that my course had changed and that if I took on English, I could get drama too. And in the car the next day, my ex-boyfriend was like, I prayed for you last night that you'd be able to get into university. And he was an atheist. And he was like, and I prayed for you. And I was literally like, oh, you are just so cute.
I just got goosebumps.
No, he was so sweet. I really can't fault him as a boyfriend. So then we went to university and straight away trouble started. Straight away. Because basically we got to fill out a questionnaire to go to university and they'd put us with like-minded people in our halls. I didn't get the halls that I wanted. And then the people that I got put with, I was confused because my questionnaire definitely was not the same as their questionnaire. They hated anything uni life. They hated drinking, they hated socials, they hated people that didn't take their course seriously. I walked in like, yeah, rock star, let's go party.
Yeah.
And they were like, we actually went out last night, we're not going out the rest of freshers. And I was like, oh my God. So I hated university for the first couple of weeks. Him on the other side of West Midlands, loving life. He's doing cinema nights with his housemates and he's going for lunch with his housemates. He's planning to get tattoos with his housemates. And at the time, he just couldn't be there for me the way I wanted him to be there for me. Like, I wanted him at my beck and call, so I was crying constantly. And imagine you're at university, you're enjoying yourself, and you've got your girlfriend on the other side of the West Midlands constantly calling you, going, I hate uni. And he's like on a cinema night and he's having to sit in his room on his own listening to me cry. Or he would go out and if he didn't text me for 2 hours, I'd be like, where are you? Are you still alive? You shouldn't leave me waiting. And he'd like go home and be like, I've had to come home early, like, what's up? Like, and this was constant. And it must have been very draining for him. So after about 6, and you know, listen, it was really hard for me too. Like, it was hard. Like, uni was hard for me. I didn't find it easy at the first couple of months. So, you know, I was young. I wanted my boyfriend. I understand why he couldn't be there for me, but he didn't make it any easier. And after about a month and a half, he broke up with me. And I said, I don't think so.
No, you didn't.
I don't think so. Actually, that's not happening. So I messaged his housemates and said, hi, I'm thinking, we're going to call him Bob again, they're all Bob.
Love it.
Hi, I'm thinking of surprising Bob tonight. We haven't seen each other for a while. I was wondering if you could let me into the flat before he gets back from the lecture. And they were like, oh my God, that's so cute. Yeah, of course. And I was like, okay. So I did that hour trip there. Walked into his uni, I'm having a cup of tea with his housemates. They're all like, oh, he's going to be so excited to see you.
Are you nervous?
No, I was delusional. I was sitting there like, I'm going to see my boyfriend. He broke up with me the night before. I'm like, I'm going to see my boyfriend. Delusional. I wish you could have seen me at the time. It was delusion. There's a massive smile on my face. Like, my ex-boyfriend's not about to walk in and be like, why are you at my university? So he walks in, his face drops. And immediately his housemates know they've been punked.
I can't with this. I was not expecting that.
He walked in. He went, what are you doing here? I've come to see you. I was like, I've come to see you. He was like, get in my room now. I'm smiling psychotically at his housemates, being like, la 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 la, see you in a second. Put the kettle on, la 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 la. Go in his room, he's like, what the hell? Like, what? I broke up with you yesterday. I was like, here's the thing, we're not breaking up, so let's talk about it, let's talk it through. Tell me what's on your mind. His mind's like, I want to break up with you. And I'm like, have you ever had a compromise? And he was like, yeah, here's a compromise. If you go back to your uni now, then we won't break up. I was like, perfect. Deal.
No, you didn't believe that.
Deal. So I said bye to everybody. I've got to go now. Smiling the whole way home. And then we stayed together for another week or two. Now, this happened 3 or 4 times. This happened. And the relationship was getting worse and worse. And I was smiling more and more as I was so delusional. I just was like, if I smile, then we won't break up. So we're just going to keep smiling. So then we've got a similar timeline. Mine was the 19th of December. Don't ask why I still remember, but it was the 19th of December. I'd come home for the weekend. He worked in Birmingham every weekend, so I'd have to come home. And that night, I remember sitting on his sofa and crying. And he was like, why are you crying? And I was like, I just feel like I'm not going to be your girlfriend anymore. I went to say, no shit, Sherlock. He's literally broken up with you 4 times. I was like, and he was like, we're fine. He was like, we're fine. Like, stop crying.
I hate it when guys do that when we're not fine, though.
We're not fine. I was like, he was like, we're fine. I was like, I just got, and I am that, is this a word? Like, I don't have good instincts. I've never had good instincts. You know, when people are like, I get a feeling. This is the one time it's ever happened to me. And I was like, I don't know why. I just feel like in deep down, I know I'm not going to be your girlfriend anymore. And he was like, oh, let's just go to bed. Like, you're being weird. Let's just go to bed. So I was like, okay. Went to sleep, woke up, and he had gone to work, and it was the morning. And again, I woke up and I thought, oh, I don't feel like I'm going to be in his bedroom again as his girlfriend. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I just know I'm not going to be his girlfriend anymore. Let's check his socials. So I checked his socials. No. Oh, God, and you always find something. Yeah, and we were like, we didn't care about giving our password. Like I said, we had a great relationship, so I had his passwords, he had mine. I went onto his Facebook and I went onto his messages, and I don't know why I scrolled down and this girl's, let's call her Lily, this girl's name popped out at me. I'd heard about her once. There was actually a girl that he used to speak about a lot who he ended up dating afterwards, but I knew it wasn't her. Also, by the way, I have no clue that he would cheat. This is just all my body. He's telling me to do all this. Like, I did not think he would cheat on me. So I messaged this Lily as him. And I said, oh my God, my girlfriend's found out what we've done. 5 minutes later, oh my God, what are you going to do?
You're a genius, Sean.
I was like, my whole world crumbling down.
At that age, it is your whole world. I remember after my first love, I remember saying, what am I going to do with my life now? I was literally like 19.
Yeah, I said I want the bus to run me over. Oh, is that too extreme?
That's such a first love thing, though, is it? If it was like the end, I'm heartbroken for you. I was
like, Mum, I just want the bus to run me over. So I was like, oh my God, Bob has cheated on me. Bob, geeky, sweepy fringe, in love with me, Bob, has cheated on me. Well, he wasn't in love with me at this point, was he? He broke up with me 4 times. Take the hint, gal. So I left, went home, went to my mum and said, Mum, Bob's cheated on me. She was like, has he slept with someone or kissed someone? I'm not sure. But let me change his password on Facebook so that he can't see these messages and that he can't message her anything. So I did change his Facebook password.
Which, by the way, as adults, would not encourage.
Not encourage. Guys, I was a weird person. I've been single 7 years for this reason. I go weird when I'm in love, okay? This is not good. I was going to say,
this is a totally different side of you that I'm seeing. Like, this is not Sharnee.
This is not me anymore. Like, I'm so scared that I'll ever be her again, I swear, because she was insane. She was insane. I psychotically went to I said, no, you're not breaking up with me. If someone breaks up with you, just take it gracefully, for God's sake.
Well, this is why we always learn.
We're learning. I'll never do that again. So I phoned my best friend and she was rolling me up and she was like, go to his work.
No. That's too far. Don't involve someone's work.
And I was like, okay. So I got on the bus, went to the city centre.
The effort that you go to at that age, because you're getting on a bus for God's sake.
Went to the restaurant that he worked at. And I used to like get him like a surprise lunch. I used to go and get Subway or Millie's cookies. So he's probably thinking, look at my girlfriend. She's bringing me a Millie's cookies. I walked up, he went, you all right, babe? I went, yeah, you all right? He went, yeah, what are you doing here? I said, I just found out you cheated on me. His face was all the evidence I needed to know that it was true. His face was, I saw it and I thought, oh God, it's true. Oh no, it's true. So I said, it gets worse, Daisy. You think what, I've walked out? I'm not walking out.
You're in the middle of like Frankie and Benny's here or something.
I'm in the middle of a massive shopping centre in town.
Right.
And I said, get me a Coke. I'm going to go and sit over there. And when you're ready, you can come and tell me what's happened.
Fair enough. I'd back that now.
Yeah.
I'd back that part.
How many hours would you wait?
Oh no. Did you wait his whole shift?
It was nearly 4 hours.
Oh, you poor girl with your coat.
Of me sitting there with a psychotic smile on my face.
The smile is still there at this point, right?
And imagine, right, him, he's working a shift, right, at the restaurant. He's trying to serve people. He's trying to do customer service. And his girlfriend is sitting there with a psychotic smile, demanding Cokes every hour. And he's walking past me, right? And he's going, have you changed my Facebook password? And I'm like, yep. And then 20 minutes later, he comes back round, can I have the password? I'm like, nope. Because at this time, I'm still messaging Lily, trying to get exactly what's happened, and she's just not giving anything away. I'm like, what shall I tell my girlfriend? And she's like, tell her what you want. And I'm like, but shall I tell the truth? And she's like, maybe. And I'm like, Lily, give me something. Did
what
you
is the truth?
Did you kiss? I need to know. But, okay, it's not Barbara Kate Smith. No, I don't know if she knew that it was ever me. So then, nearly 4 hours into his shift, because this was at like 9, so I had to wait until lunchtime for his lunch. And he came over, he's like, my boss says I can eat lunch with you. And I was like, okay, tell me what happened. And he was like, we were at a house party and we kissed. Right. And I was like, but at that time, kissing was...
It's a big deal, isn't it? Yes.
I don't know, it'd still be a big deal now, but at that time I was a cheating vigilante. I hated cheating, which I still do now, but like, at that time I was literally a vigilante. Anyone that cheated, I would be out there for the kill.
Can I ask you how you felt in this moment? Because if ever I've had to confront a guy like that, my whole body fills with adrenaline and I get really shaky. Are you anxious at this point?
I'm a drama queen, so I was really living for the drama.
Okay, yeah.
And also I thought, yeah, he's cheated on me, but he's going to have to beg for me back now, and I'm ready for that bit. That's going to be great when he has to beg for me back. Like, I can't wait till he's begging for me back.
Nice and toxic.
Yeah. Oh, I was so toxic. You just figured this out now. And I've told you 5% of the stuff that I've done. 5, right? God. Let me tell you. So I was like, did you sleep with him? He was like, no. And I was like, why did you do it? And he was like, Sharn, I tried to break up with you so many times. And I went, so many times? Yeah. What? More than one to break up with someone is so many times, Sharn. So he did. And he only cheated on me because he knew I hated cheating that badly that it was the only way he could break up with me. So I said, you've broken my heart, Bob, and I never want to see you again. And I walked out. Went on my BBM, which if you're like really young, it's kind of like if you could do a WhatsApp status but send it to everybody on WhatsApp. Remember the broadcast?
Yeah, the broadcast, yeah.
So I broadcasted, can't believe he's cheated on me.
Oh no.
And
oh God.
And his sister messaged like, oh my God, what's happened? And I was like, your brother has cheated on me. And then I got on the train to go back to university and he messaged me saying, when I finish my shift, I'll let you know why it's over. I texted him back saying, no, sunshine, I'm saying it's over.
Good, like that part.
Spoiler alert.
Oh no.
I didn't want it to be over. Listen, these stories have kept my family entertained for years. So I went home and I had a friend that went to the same uni as me but was from home, and she came over. I cried and then he phoned me and I was giving it all. Don't phone me and try coming back to me. And he was like, I'm not trying to come back to you, like, it's over. And I was like, what? He was like, I don't want to come back to you, like, it's over. And I was like, please don't leave me.
Oh no.
And he was like, Sharn, like, I can't do it anymore. I was like, please don't leave me. And he was like, Sharn. And I was like, please. And then I remember that night I fell asleep and crying on the phone to him. Like, he stayed on the phone to me whilst I fell asleep crying, just begging and begging and begging for him to not break up with me, just begging for what felt like hours until I fell asleep from crying.
Do you think that's being young and in love, or do you think that comes from a place of you needing to not be rejected?
No, I don't think I was Did you hear me? It sounds like I'm anxious, preoccupied, if anything, at that point. I was so far. I was definitely not an avoidant. I was like, love. I loved affection so much that if I could be inside his body, I would have been inside his body. I was so far away from fearful. It was crazy. No rejection, didn't care. And then that morning, I woke up and I set out to get him back. And every day, I found new ways to try and get him back. And that happened for about 2 years. So yeah.
Ages?
19 to 20, just turned 21. Yeah, that's my initial breakup story.
I can't believe all of that. Like, I'm in shock. Now knowing you, and I mean, please go back and listen to previous episodes, because the Sharnee that we know and the real Sharnee is like, no, not having that. No, not having that. Are you joking? No, you don't want me? Okay, bye. You're lost. Like, where did this change come in? Is it age? Is it what has happened?
So this is where I say, like, he was the greatest boyfriend, because he was. I can't fault him, but he was a horrible ex-boyfriend. So we slept together for 2 years, and there was a few things that he did throughout that was really disrespectful. One of them was he would let me walk alone in the middle of the night to come and go to his house. Never offered to walk me back. I'd be walking the streets at 3, 4 in the morning, didn't care for my safety. If I phoned him drunk, he'd say I'm embarrassing, I'm making a scene, and he would cut off sex. Like, that's what he would do. He would cut sex off, so I'd stop getting emotional and being dramatic so that the sex wouldn't stop, because the sex meant I could see him. And then, this is deep, but I'll be completely transparent. When you're having sex with someone for 2 years, something else he did was sleep with me unprotected for those 2 years. Completely unprotected. In fact, it was like we were trying for a baby. Like, that's how unprotected it was. And obviously, in 2 years of doing that, eventually, you'll get pregnant. So when I was in my second year of uni, I got pregnant. Really weird. I felt weird. Had a period. 3 days later, I had a really heavy period. Was miscarriaging, which is fine. It isn't traumatic for me. Happens to a lot of women. I'm not motherly. I never dreamed of being a mother, so that doesn't affect me. But what did was when I went home to tell him that it happened. This was like 2 or 3 weeks after it had all happened. And I told him very flippantly, like, just to let you know, was pregnant, not anymore, just thought you'd want to know. And then 5 minutes later, he was having sex with me unprotected again. And that made me feel worthless. It made me feel like I was a little doll that he was throwing about. It made me feel like I am nothing. And I had a dad that didn't show me any love. And then I had the boy that I thought loved me treat me as if I was nothing. And I remember after that night, I was like, I am nothing. And I thought to myself, I let somebody disrespect me like that. I am nothing. Like, I am nothing. I am unworthy. And that was the moment I think I switched. And I stopped showing emotion. I stopped being affectionate. I stopped thinking I was worthy of love. And fearful avoidant traits started from that night. And we still continued to sleep together for a year after that. Another year after that. But I think it was that moment that was switched from I love love, I'm really affectionate, love people, keep wanting to get you back, to I'm using sex to tell me that I'm valid and tell me that I'm worthy. I'm no longer showing people my emotions because he'll just cut off sex or just don't do that anymore, and I won't commit to anybody. And it literally was like a switch like that.
That is so sad, isn't it? And I'm sure so many people have so many stories like that, because likewise, you can change from anxious to secure if you work on yourself. Mm-hmm. So the fact that clearly was a clear change in your attachment style due to a person and an event happening in your life. I think a lot of people, you can look back and be really mad at yourself, but a lot of people have been with their partners for years afterwards. My first love, we slept together multiple times for at least 2 years afterwards, and it's so toxic. But I think particularly when you're that young, you don't realise how much of an effect that can have. And someone might think, well, it was your fault after that traumatic thing happening. You still went back there. You were both unprotected. You were, but I think at that age, you're not always thinking of the kind of consequences, are you?
I'd rather have done it unprotected than not see him. That's how I felt. I'd rather had the risk of being pregnant. I'd rather have the risk of miscarrying. I'd rather have the risk of feeling emotionally damaged if it meant that I could see him, and that was it. Like, That was it. And that's why I always say he was a great boyfriend, but ex-boyfriend. I think I wouldn't have been single this long if that hadn't have happened. I probably would have met somebody. I don't even like being hugged now. I literally want to be in the boy's body. Now, I mean, I kiss all the time, but actual hugging, holding hands, it's so far away from what I'm about. And I think my life would have been so much different if that event wouldn't have happened. And I'm sure he doesn't know it affected me in the way that it did, but it's something that I still can't forgive him for.
You know, it's really hard to know when you do meet someone. Sometimes, and similar to the ex I spoke about earlier, he's a great friend and a great family person, but in a relationship, not very kind. And then in a breakup, horrible. What's really hard to know when you meet someone is how they're going to treat you when they don't love you. Because, you know, you can get amazing co-parents and there's still respect that needs to happen, just human to human. And that's quite hard to find, someone that will be kind and gentle with you when they don't love you anymore, because that's a horrible way to treat someone.
But if I was kinder to myself, that situation wouldn't have happened. So it worked because we were both not kind to me.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you've hit it on the spot.
Because he was kind to himself. He was loving life himself. He had girlfriends in between us sleeping together. And meanwhile, my friend's pretending to text me as a boy called Lewis just to try and make him jealous. Like, I was not moving on. And if now you've seen me, you wouldn't even get me close to that now.
But that's because, it sounds so lame when you say it out loud or write it down, but that's because you love yourself now.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm great now. Like,
Exactly.
I was great then. I wish I would have known.
I know.
But I'm great now. And I would never. 2 years. What do I look like? No, never again.
That's an age thing, isn't it? Like learning, being wiser and actually learning to be like, I'm amazing, you can't treat me like that.
Yeah, and knowing like it will affect your future. He's now moved out with his girlfriend that he's been with for 7, 8 years because he wasn't affected in the same way that I was. I've been affected enough that it put me off men for that long and put me off being in love for that long. And being a fearful avoidant is hard work. Look, it's not easy to be the ones that are the ones that are known for not liking love and not liking affection. It's not easy to be the fearful avoidant because YouTube videos say we're the hardest people to be with. And it's not that we don't want to be loved, it's just that we find it hard.
And at least you recognise that you are one, which is the first thing, 'cause a lot of people don't. Yeah. And you realise the work that you need to do to try and be more like secure and not avoidant, which is amazing that you even recognise that, because lots of people don't.
Yeah.
And also, I think if you can look back, you can't you've learned, and also you're so young at that time. And even in the breakup I spoke about when I was 25, some of the things I did, like the abuse that I sent him via text at the time, now, if someone did that, I'd be like, you know what, you're lost. And that's only 3 years later.
I'm sure it was very an articulate message compared to my, where are you?
You know what, when I was going to talk about how I dealt with the breakup, it was more the self-destructive I'm annoyed at.
Okay.
So it was, you know, I'm not saying I'm drinking like an alcoholic, but I would get in at work at 3 and I would need a glass of wine.
Really?
Yeah.
Yours was more like trying to find other things to deal with the emotions than just deal with them.
Yeah, I was just eating really badly. I just weren't going to the gym. I was just lazy and sobbing on the sofa, and just, you know, my housemate would come in, do you want to go for a walk? It's really nice, sunny outside. No, I can't. Like, God bless her, because honestly, she was dragging me out. She planned this really lovely day where we I had a pasta maker, we made pasta together, we got wine. The whole time I didn't want to be in Morrison's getting the stuff, I didn't want to be doing the pasta, I didn't want to be watching, but she made me do it. You need to have someone to make you do it, or it's in your mindset to make yourself rewire the thoughts, which we're going to get onto in another episode with a great guest that can talk about that mindset coaching. But for me, I found it so hard to rewire my thoughts. It was, someone's broken up with me again. He went back to another girl again, which has been a pattern in my life. That's about the 3rd or 4th guy that's gone back to a previous partner. So why haven't what's made them better than me? Which isn't the narrative that you should be telling your brain. And it isn't about comparing to people anyway. It's the history that they've had. You can't compete with history. Yeah, and
you're just repeating patterns. It's not like, it's just obviously you attract the same man as I do. I attract wounded men. You attract men that are still in love with their flipping first ex or their freaking exes. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just what we're attracting. It's just repeated, and we find it hard to I was more proactive. I didn't lie down, but mostly because I wanted to get him back. So every morning it was just, what can I do to get him back today? And I did a lot of things to try and get him back, but as you can see, 10 years later, none of them worked. So
Oh, I'm so surprised at this story. We've had like two completely different experiences. I'm now more proactive. So although I haven't had a heartbreak since then in that sense, people that have ghosted me, I've been like smashing the gym since the last guy annoyed me. And I've been like being productive. You know, this podcast has started in that time. I'm starting a new counselling course. So many things have come from it. Whereas 3 years ago, I remember just the sofa, the one spot on the sofa, and like, a month and a bit later, I was like, Daisy, get your ass off this L-shaped sofa because you're making a dent, mate. Like, get up and cook a meal because your best mate's been cooking for you for the last month. What are you doing? You're 25, you're young, and you know what? No matter what age you are, if you're a kind, lovely person, don't let someone bring you down like that.
Yeah, and if they're living their life and you're on the sofa, you're only
winning?
hurting yourself. Yeah, you're only hurting. You're not spiting him.
Yeah.
I was okay, and to be fair, it has a happy ending. I started to absolutely love university because without him, I had to put myself out of my comfort zone and I had to meet new people. It's just a shame that the whole way through, I was like part-time university, part-time trying to get him back. And like, it would cost money to try and get him back and create, like, one time I booked a cinema ticket. This was shortly after we'd broken up. I phoned him. I said, "You all right?" He was like, "You okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I've booked us to go and see Polar Express at the IMAX in Birmingham next week." He was like, "Oh, well, obviously I'm not going. We're not together anymore." I was like, "What? Sorry, the line's funny. What did you say?" He was like, "Obviously I'm not going. We're not together anymore. We haven't been together for a month." I was like, "It sounds like you're saying we're not going, but I've bought the tickets." He was like, "Yep, take someone else. We're not together." I was like, "You're really rude."
You know what? I'm going to make you feel a little bit better here because we've all been crazy with people, and the guy I was with, the second boyfriend, so more like 20 years old, I went all the way to Reading on a train for him to turn up at his house because he wasn't texting me back and I didn't know why he'd broken up with me. His brother was mowing the lawn and was like, "What are you doing here? He's broken up with you. Where is he?" Said he wasn't in. I was like, "Oh, wait." And I waited on the lawn. And again, we ended up sharing a bed that night as well. So like, we all do these things, and I travelled all the way to Reading. You know what, I don't know what age I was, but I was barely earning any money. That train to Reading, I think, was 70 quid. Like, what are you doing,
It costs money
girl?
to get people back, you know. It actually does. It costs me loads. And like, I'd write poems and all sorts.
We've all done a poem, haven't we?
Yeah, anything I could do. And every single time he said no, and I was so surprised every time. I was thinking, "Oh, I've got to try something else. Come on, Bob. Give it up, mate." I made him take me on 2 dates as well. I managed to get 2 dates in that 2 years. I said, "You're making yourself not happy. You're making me not happy. So you need to take me on a date." He's like, "Go away."
What I've learned is when a man tells, and you see this loads, when a man tells you no, believe them.
Yeah.
When anyone tells you no, any gender, believe them.
Yeah.
Don't make anyone tell you twice. If they say no the first time, inevitably it's going to be a no a second, third, fourth, fifth time. If someone ain't feeling it, don't go, like, honestly. And to be honest, I think I've only learnt that. I'd say in the last few years, if someone doesn't want you, let it be.
Yeah.
It ain't meant to be. And I wouldn't say that I've learnt that like 5 years ago. No, I'd say in the last 3, like maybe since this most recent breakup.
Yeah, smiling psychotically doesn't always work. Just let it go. But yeah, I've never, obviously, no one's ever got, I don't think I've even really liked anybody that much, to be fair, since it's happened. I can cut people off in seconds and never think about them again.
Yeah, it's really sad. It's so sad, isn't it? How long it takes to find the next person that you really like.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad because I wouldn't want to get attached easy either. So I am glad that like that kind of left me. But like, someone might be potential and they say one thing and I cut it off and I'll never see or speak to them again. They're probably sitting there like, what happened?
Is
I'm like,
that
"Bye."
a fearful avoidant thing, or is that how we're just dating now in our dating culture? Because I can do that too. I've been talking to a guy that I'm really getting on with. He just sent me a selfie that's a bit like, and I'm like, oh, nah.
But I do it with people that I could like.
Right.
So like the boy that you went on 4 dates with, I could have cut him off, gone, "See you later."
Oh
quite
no,
early
see,
on.
I couldn't have. I really did like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I liked the situation shit, but I said on board and cut that off, and that was that. Even though I really liked him, I was like, "See you later."
It really is an avoidant thing.
Yeah, it's just an avoidant thing, yeah. Sad. It's not going to be forever though.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll get into attachment styles. Well, I think I know the answer to this one. The finale question was going to be, would you go back and change any behaviours? Which now, after knowing this, stupid question really, isn't it?
If I could change anything, I would just change going back after. I wish he would never have slept with me once. I'd be married with kids by now.
Wow, you really feel like that?
100. Yeah, like I wouldn't be a fifth. I would like to be hugged, but I don't even like to be hugged. He ruined 10 years of my life. as well as other things. There was other factors while I was single, but I was, and the fact that I'm so weird in love that I was just like, I never want to be like her again. But I think if we would have stopped that day, and just to let you know, I ended sleeping with him. It was me that stopped it finally. He's still probably between it bloody now. If we would have never slept together after we broke up, my life would be so different, and I would be so much more affectionate and like nicer and kinder.
Strange, isn't it? Because I look back at some experience I've had, and obviously deep down they must have affected me in some way, but it's never stopped me being open to love. Like when I now get someone, you know, like the last situationship I spoke about that did kind of ghost me after quite lovely dates, I'm still shocked. Yeah. I'm like, why don't you want to be with me? Like, it hasn't...
And I love that about you. I wish I was like it.
Because I'm at a place where I love myself now, so I'm comfortable, and I love that I will still welcome love.
Yeah.
And I'm still really a bit of a hopeless romantic, like, it's out there. I really, truly believe it's out there for everyone. But really, based on, you know, you've had one experience today and you were shocked, it doesn't change how I feel going into a relationship.
And I love that. That's exactly how I would like to be. I'd love to go in being positive. It's just, at the moment, my brain is set to be like, fight or flight, go. And
you know what? We're excited for that change. Don't you worry, girl. You're working on it. I would change behaviours. I think, like you said, I got my closure from the guy in the end, so that needed to happen. I think you always need closure. People say the no and the ghosting is the closure, but you know what? I'm going to stand by it. If you need an answer, get your answer, because normally that's the close of the book. I would change like getting in and being unmotivated. Now, a man not wanting me is my motivation to smash the gym 10 times harder, to meet more friends to go out with, and to just do lots of things that I love.
Love that. No self-destruction for you, and no sleeping with people for me.
Well, thank you for listening. Remember to like, subscribe. We're everywhere, like YouTube, Amazon, Google, Spotify. We're on Instagram as Daisy Dates Podcast, TikTok and Facebook. Facebook group Daisy Dates is actually for women only, just because we like it to keep it a safe space for women, but everyone is welcome everywhere else. We're really excited for the next episode as well.
Yes, we will catch you then. Bye.